friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead. It is 5:17 a.m. Monday, April 4th. And this is the face of a fibromyalgia sufferer who did not sleep a wink last night. And it just goes to show you that sometimes everything that has worked in the past doesn't always work all the time. In other words, I did everything I normally do to get myself settled in. I actually went to bed at a decent time because I'm not used to going to bed at a decent time now after picking my son up at work. And I didn't sleep. And I was, instead of rolling over and over and over and over again, while I tried to keep my rollovers down to a minimum. Because I really didn't want to wake Papa up. So I try to keep it really quiet in my tossing and turning all night. But sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, fibromyalgia is still going to kick you in the teeth. Fibromyalgia and insomnia. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. So I don't have a video for today. And I know you all are going to say, that's all right, get your rest. Well, guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I've fed my chicks and my baby goats, and I've turned the lights on my plants, and I made Papa's breakfast, and I made Papa's lunch, and and when he goes to work, I'm going to go back to bed. But what I think was my stress factor is it doesn't, like I was saying, it doesn't take much to throw your routine off. And my routine has been kind of thrown off for the last 2 months, but I've learned to roll with it. But last night my son asked me if I would take him to his friends, because he had Saturday, Sunday, and he has today off, and he wanted to know if I would take him to his friends. And I did. But earlier in the day we had gotten in an argument because I said, if you want to talk to your friends, use my phone, because you can't be running up the bandwidth on my internet. I need that for my YouTube, right, and for my email and stuff. Anyway, he took me literally, and he went and used my phone. And when I dropped him off at his friends, he had my phone in his pocket, and it's a 15-mile drive to his friend's house, 16 miles. And when I got home, I walked in the house, and Karen and Howie were both going, Briar's got your phone. And I went, what? No, he has his own phone, which isn't actually a phone. It's been deactivated. He just uses it for Skype and stuff. And they said, no, he's got your phone. So I had to phone him and say, how the hell did my phone end up in your pocket? Now, there's a lot of people out there who've been asking me why my son doesn't have a driver's license, why he's back home at 23 and he's at this stage in his life, and all these things. My son is high-functioning autistic. Now, no, he hasn't been diagnosed, except by me. And everybody else out there who thinks I'm not qualified, well, then you go ahead and, re-raise my son and tell me any diagnosis would be different. They had him, there was one point they wouldn't let him go to school unless he had been seen by a doctor who could prescribe him Ritalin. Then he went from Ritalin to Concerta. And then finally, I've told everybody this in the past, that we finally got him into a school that was, 7 students per class, and that the teachers pretty much walked him through high school. High-functioning autism can sometimes be mistaken for Asperger's. Briar doesn't have Asperger's. He has autism, or high-functioning autism, which means he functions, but it's a lot more difficult for him than other people because his communication skills are off. He has high levels of anxiety in any kind of stressful or public situation. In other words, just him putting in applications for jobs in a town where he knows everybody was extremely stressful for him. Really, really, really hard. And so I'm really proud of him, But no, he doesn't have a driver's license yet. No, he doesn't have his own apartment yet. But you know what? We have to, when it comes time for him to cross those thresholds, change is very difficult. And he doesn't watch my videos, so this isn't going to be an issue for Briar. But in understanding what he goes through, every milestone we get him to is a celebration. But it's also been a journey of frustration, because where a normal 23-year-old would have a girlfriend and a car and be itching for, well, he is itching for an apartment, but a girlfriend and a car and an apartment and a job and a social life and stuff. You know, Briar flounders. He flounders, you know, so it's not that. The way I look at it is it's going to happen in time, in God's and Briar's time, not in our time. Somebody with high functioning autism has their own timetable on how they get things done. They don't fit into, they are definitely round pegs for square holes. They just, you know, or square pegs for round holes. They just don't necessarily fit. And society is constantly trying to shave off the edges to make them fit. And that can be very, very stressful. I don't know how this conversation happened. Oh, right, my phone. So I was just thinking, you know, I know I'm rambling all over the place, but I was just thinking last night, you know, my fight with Bell Canada, and I got rid of my house phone, and then I got rid of my cell phone with them, and I got rid of my TV and my internet and all that stuff that I had with Bell. And I was thinking, oh, this is much easier having my phone handy, you know, having my phone right there wherever I go. But there's a problem with that. You see, when I had a phone in the house before, I had a phone on every level of the house. I only have 2 levels, but I mean, there'd be one in the living room, there'd be one in my bedroom, there'd be one downstairs. And everybody got to use the same phone. But the problem with removing that is if anything goes wrong with my phone, Howie's phone's a different number. My phone's the main phone in the house. And you don't realize how much you come to rely on those little gadgets until somebody accidentally puts it in their pocket and goes to their friend's house for 2 days. So, if there was another phone company, see, out here all we have is Bell Canada for landlines. And if there was another phone company, I think I would put a landline back in my house. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to investigate. Now, I know there's these online places where you can put your phone through your computer, but if the power goes out, then I don't, or my internet goes down, I don't have it. But my internet's pretty reliable. But again, we're back to the technology where even in a power outage, a normal dial or regular just punch landline phone that doesn't require an AC plug into the wall will still work, because the landline, the Bell lines are, you know, reliant on your house power only if you have a phone that has to plug in to an AC outlet. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm exhausted. We banded Buddy yesterday, so he was like a little goaty in pain for a couple hours, and now he seems to be fine. But he's, thanks to, I keep wanting to call her Mocha, even though everyone said Toffee, but one person said she looks more like a Mocha, and I was like, I've been calling her Mocha ever since, so that must be her name. She won't even go near the milk. She didn't want the bottle, she didn't want any in a bowl. I double checked to make sure she was fully weaned, and all she wants is, you know, a little bit of grain and some hay and some fresh water, which Buddy keeps peeing in. But she's actually teaching him how to eat hay and grain, a little bit of grain and stuff, as if he was beside his mom, because that's how babies would learn. You know, the baby goats would watch their mom and, oh, that must be good, she's eating it. And well, that's what little Mocha's doing for him, so that's really cool. We boiled down I should say Howie boiled down a buttload of sap. He boiled down, what, about 65 gallons, dear? Somewhere around there, between 50 and 65 gallons, and we got 12 pints of syrup, but we still have more to do. So Here's hoping that, you know, the weather doesn't completely warm up and ruin our sap before we get a chance to boil it down again. And there's going to be some video on that. Papa started the video, but we still have more to boil down because I didn't get to. It was one of those days today or yesterday. I say today because I haven't slept, but it was one of those days where kind of all things were Nan, and Karen brought Nan up to stay with us for a few weeks, and you know, Howie was doing sap, and Briar wanted to go to his friend's house, and I wasn't doing too good yesterday. And it looks like today's not going to be any easier. But I guess God thinks I need to have a rest because He's removed my cell phone. So I'm going to have some breakfast, and I'm going to try and sleep. So you all have a wonderful day. And this is the Mrs. Wolfie from Our Half Acre Homestead saying, square pegs in round holes. You're not supposed to shave them off, put them in a square peg in a round hole. You're supposed to find the square hole that works for that peg. Take care. God bless.